point is, we're here, and I came on to say just a few things really briefly before Hollow Earth plays, and I've already gone completely off the goddamn rails with the Dago abortion story. But I wanted to tell just a quick couple things. Yesterday, International Women's Day. People, this is important. Yeah, absolutely. No, keep it going. Why not? Yeah, why not? I like your style too. It's just like everyone's like, yeah, woo, 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 woo. Then chill, woo, chill, woo, chill, woo. And like one person claps, and you're like, woo. Like the last clap game is always fucking awesome. Like if you go to any event, this would work, but it's kind of hard with music going and people talking and stuff. But if you ever go to like a nicer kind of like more dignified-ish thing, like the symphony or something like that, play the last clap game. So like when everyone's clapping at the end of like Divertimento in D by Mozart, you know, everyone's clapping, the whole audience is dressed in tuxedos. Make sure you're the last one clapping. After 800 people stop, just go, it's the fucking best. It's like, it's so empowering. It's like, that was me, last clap, fuck all of you. Anyway, so, what should we call it? International Women's Day. The reason I wanted to talk just for a second about International Women's Day is because, you know, every day should be signified, without even calling it so, International Women's Day. There shouldn't be a day that's International Women's Day, and 364 days, which are like madness, right? And anti-woman, essentially. And I'm telling you this as an American, watching every day the Mike Pence, Steve Bannon, you know, Donald Trump phenomenon. Like, it's completely insane, anti-woman, anti-reproductive rights, and madness. And we were having a conversation before, earlier today, talking about like the ultimate hardcore moms, like it's true. Like some people have like parents who don't understand hardcore. Some people have parents that do understand hardcore and wish that their kids were different, meaning us. And then like some people, I mean, it's true. It's like some people. I mean, like not all of us like have our parents here tonight. In fact, none of us probably do. You know, I'm going to contend that I have the ultimate hardcore mom, and I've got a story to back it in honor of yesterday being International Women's Day. But my thought being that every day should be, so I'm going to tell an International Women's Day story today about my mom that, you know, I could have just as well told yesterday, but in fact I'm going to tell it today in the honor of every day being International Women's Day. So my mom used to party with Jesus Bonehead. No, I'm kidding. My mom, that'd be so fucking awesome. I met my mom at Jesus Bonehead's house. What the story is, and it's true. When I started going to punk shows in Connecticut, I was like 15 years old. And there was, I was very fortunate to be around at a time when tons of bands were coming through Connecticut and New York, the tri-state area, and bands that, you know, we've all heard of, and bands that, you know, maybe some of us have seen, but to be 15, 16 years old and be able to see, like, Husker Du, Circle Jerks, Bad Brains was a complete fucking madness. Like, it was just luck of the draw that it happened that way for me. But when I was 16 years old, at a club called The Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York, which is about as far from, you know, about as far from where I lived as the border is from here. I heard that the Ramones were going to be playing, and the show was 17 and up, and I was only 16 years old. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go see the Ramones. Like, and I went to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I know you don't understand. I know that I've been like cutting my hair and acting weird and everything like that, and just being strange. But there's this band coming, and I was almost blabbering like a maniac. I'm like, you gotta understand, there's this band coming, and they're called the Ramones. They look exactly alike, and all their songs sound the same, but they're really awesome. And you should have to trust me that this is very important, you know. And it's just like, you know, they're not. Oh, come on, please. What, do you only hear one fucking song? So it's like, the point is that I was like, I gotta go see the Ramones, you gotta help me. And she's like, well, what's the problem? Do you need a ride? I'm like, no, Mom, I don't want to get the ride from the mom to the punk show, it's way too much. But I was like, what I do want is I need to be able to get in, and I don't know how, because I'm 16 and I have to be 17, and they're gonna ask for ID, which I can't provide. And my mom sat there for a minute, ultimate hardcore punk rock mom, and she was like, you know what, I can help with this. Okay, so she asked me to get in her car. We drive down to this local bank where we have a safety deposit box at the bank. She goes into the safety deposit box, this is so bonkers, I can't even believe it, and pulls out my birth certificate, like my original birth certificate. She takes it with me to a photocopy place and photocopies the birth certificate. She then takes white out, okay, and whites out the last year of the last digit of the year of my birth, right? And then, on the white-outed copy, right, she takes this like fine-pointed pen, and so it looks like a punch from a typewriter, because it was a typewritten birth certificate. She changes the 1 to a 0 meticulously, so it looks pretty damn good, and then she puts that white-outed copy on the photocopier and makes a photocopy of my forged birth certificate. Okay. She hands this to me, and she's like, coolest mom, forget about it, so it's amazing, right? So she hands this to me, and she's like, have fun at your show. Okay, so I've got this birth certificate, I'm like, this is so cool. Not even realizing how cool this was. I'm like, this is so amazing. So the show comes up a few weeks later. I get a ride through friends to the Chance in Poughkeepsie. I show up at the Chance. I'm 16. I'm way out of my league. Like, unlike some of the local shows in my town, in my little town in Connecticut, where it's just my punk rock friends and me. Now we're at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, and like all these punk rockers have come up out of New York City, and they're like real punk rockers. They've got leather jackets and cigarettes. They're like way beyond anything that I'd ever encountered. And I'm in line with all these people, and just it's just complete madness. And I'm walking like towards the door very slowly, and I've got this folded up birth certificate that's in my pocket, and I pull it out, and I'm holding onto it. I'm shaking. I'm all excited. I'm going to get in to see the Ramones, and I'm about as far away as our friend next to the wall here, and you're like the bouncer, right? And one by one, these punks are pulling out their their IDs, and checking them, and they get the hand stamp, and they go in. And as I get closer and closer, I'm like clutching this fake birth certificate. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! And I walk up to the guy, and the guy's like, you got ID? And I'm just like, I say it confidently as much as I can. Like I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, let me see it. And I hand him the folded up birth certificate. And he says to me, what the fuck is this, a note from your mom? And I had this moment, this like little kid moment where I was almost just like, oh well yeah, actually she made it, whatever. He opens it up and he looks at it and he's standing there scrutinizing it. And in my mind, in that moment, it was like 20 years that I stood there as we just contemplated one another's insincerity, right? It was probably realistically like 1 second. But he opens up this thing, he looks at it, he kind of checks it out, and he kind of half crumples it up, he throws it in my face. He's like, fucking go. I'm like, and I, like go in, like not go, like leave, like just go in, like emotions to go inside. So I catch the birth certificate and clutch it. And I'm standing there, he's like, come on, go in. I'm like, okay. So I go in, and I pay my whatever the show cost in 1987, like 50 cents or whatever it was, like $10 or I don't know. And I walk in, and I see the fucking Ramones. I'm like standing up right up front, and it's like, it was bonkers, right? So, I mean, and you can just imagine, it's so fucking fun. But the reason I tell you this story, and then Hollow Earth is gonna come up and play, because I know it's a late night, but the reason I tell you this story is because it wouldn't have happened without my mom, and the significance of her in my life is astronomical, and she's alive to this day. She and my dad have been married 52 years now. It's completely insane. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And it just wouldn't have happened without her. And what it did was it rewired my brain like so substantially. It made me think like, oh wow, the world doesn't have to be the way it is all the time. You can circumvent the world through like unusual means, right? And as time has gone on in my involvement in hardcore, I think that sometimes we forget. I know I forget sometimes. By showing up again and again to shows every single week and not questioning why we're there, not really reconnecting with why we're here, we kind of fall into ruts, and hardcore becomes just as similar and just as same as the rest of our lives are. If you go to work every day, you see the same people every day, whatever it might be, like when we forget how unique this place is, and when we forget how unique the musical style is, and when we forget the potential of hardcore to rewire our brains and have us see the world differently than when we walked in, we do ourselves and our hardcore punk scene and everybody around us a disservice, because we end up feeling as though, oh, well, this is just the same thing as it was last week. But what I learned from my mom so early on, and I got to keep remembering that, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, so we can all remember it, is like hardcore and punk rock could be a place where we learn about disruption, and where we learn about making things different, and where we learn and feel and experience that things don't have to be the same way as they were last week. I mean, or otherwise, I would have just sat home at 16 years old and done whatever I did, played Atari 2600, or I had no idea what I was doing, right? But I mean, I would have, just sat at home, and instead, by way of just alternative viewpoint from my mom and having her lead me on that crazy experience, my whole world changed, and it's continued to change through this day. So that's, more or less what I came to tell you tonight and share with you and offer the idea that, let's keep that in mind as we're here and watching the bands. And next week, once I'm gone and on to another city, as you guys are here watching bands, let's be thinking about how this can adapt and change us, how this experience here can make us see the world differently. Because when it does that, then we walk out into the world completely changed, completely inspired, and at that point, the world has the potential on our terms to become completely different and maybe reflect the way we want to see it, rather than the way it's just going to be if we keep the same mindset week after week, month after month, and year after year. So, my name's Greg Bennick, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching and listening. I appreciate it very much. Always up next. If you're interested, everybody, check out wordsasweapons.com. That's my blog, wordsasweapons.com. Check that out and keep in touch anytime. Thank you, everybody.